Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video I'm going to be showing you guys around the Intelliflex. It's a giant 3 megawatt container. You see the fans on top, just little props there, but there will be a whole entire system on top of there that'll be cooling off this container here. And this is an immersion container. So I'll be showing you guys around, going over the quality build and just giving you guys a little overview of this setup. Now, there are various ways you can set up your farm: air, hydro, or immersion. And there are pluses and minuses of each of those setups. And again, today's video is just going to be focused on this immersion container. It's very expensive, by the way. It costs 545,000 a megawatt, and they sell in increments of 3. So you're looking at more than 1.5 million to build out a setup like this, not including the miners. Now that does include the transformers, and it includes the low voltage hookup, which means that you're going to have the low voltage coming in from the transformers and into the container itself. That's all paid for by this company, and includes the liquid in the immersion cooling, and includes all of that, you know, some of the engineering work, and they work with the engineers, electrical inspections, all that stuff. They work with you, make sure you get everything done and ready to go. So before I go in there, you guys know what to do. Hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, go to cryptollc.org if you're looking to build yourself an Asic or a GPU mining operation. You want to buy or sell miners, do any of that stuff, go to cryptollc.org. Before we get started, Bitcoin saves your wealth and Jesus Christ saves your soul. And we are at Mining Disrupt, by the way, 2025 in Fort Lauderdale. All right, let's head on in there and look around. Let's pop one of these lids up here. One-handed. You can see 3-phase, 240. I think there's those 6R outlets there. 6R outlets. Basically, it's a twist-on 3-phase with a ground, and then all of your miners are then placed into the mineral oil or whatever liquid you're using. You can see how it's built here. These pumps, these look like pumps most likely here. Pulling in cooled liquid and pulling out the hot liquid. See on this side as well, opposite side. Now all of these miners are all immersion cooled miners, meaning that they are operating at extreme hash rates. They're basically the same type of miner you can get on air, but just condensed into an immersion cooled mining.
And your deployment costs.
So even though this looks like a small area, you'll have a lot of power being run through this small area, because each miner, if you don't overclock it, it could be like 10,000 watts. It could be more than that, you know, whatever you need. It's huge, 15,000 watt usage, you know, per miner. So it's an extreme load in a small, tight area. You're gonna have a lot of that immersion liquid, you know, running through this thing just non-stop all the time. And then you have all the miners next to each other here. So you gotta have a lot of flow in and out, cooling everything off. And as you guys can tell, this is not a standard container. See how high that ceiling is? This is not a container, by the way. This is just a custom built enclosing. Got your lights there on top. You got your power hub, basically panel with all the information that you need.
Looks amazing.
Touch screen, by the way. You have all the information you need here, such as inlet temperature, see that? Outlet temperature, you know, pump speed and pump mode and all that stuff. And a lot of things you got to be going over here when you're setting one of these guys up. That you got to make sure you have your proper setup where you'll be not over pumping it, right? You don't want to use your pumps too much, but then at the same time, you got to have it just set up, you know, properly, where your temperature is going to be, you know, kind of equal. Right? So your chips are very, very cool, and you're not overdoing it, right? You don't want to run them just 100% on the pump. So that's what that's for. Your technician will look over that and make that decision there. Just from our experience, just because you run your fan speed at 100% like on an air miner doesn't mean that you're getting anything better in terms of performance, right? You're just wasting your fan speeds, right? You're wasting your fans. You're consuming too much air, which then negatively impacts your filter, you know, and so on. So you guys know what I'm talking about. If you ever ran a mining operation, you're just basically not gaining anything, but you are degrading your fans and having them break a lot faster, a lot sooner than otherwise. Here is like a built out like a representation of the PDU here. It's obviously not what you get. See, just plugged into a 120, but it gives you an idea. You can also see what type of breakers they use. And they use really good breakers. These are NORAC breakers. We see them a lot in other mining facilities. So they're, you know, standard high quality breakers. You know, it's 3-phase again. Then you got your, I think it's a C6R is like the name of this. So you see you have all your phases there. You know, A, B, C, let's say. It might be the other way, A, B, C. And you got your neutral or ground in that. For build outs like this, neutral and ground are basically the same thing. They all plug into the same exact location on the panel. Here's a representation of how it works, by the way.
To the mega box and then power this thing up. Everything, like I said, it's pre-engineered. Everything is done by us, to our specs. We have manufacturing partners that do some of this stuff with the steel packages. Like this is a pre-built, prefab, pre-engineered building that we have built here. So again, depending on where it's located, there are hurricanes and hurricanes, or we have some further. Have different building code requirements. Brian, our sales guy, so.
And this room, by the way, you can customize your build out where you can have a room that's dedicated to like repairing things, or maybe a rest area for the technicians. You know, you can have it kind of dedicated maybe to networking, you know, have all your networking here, and so on. So there's various ways you can set up those things. Let's go outside and take a look here outside on the width of this guy. See how wide this guy is, right? It's enormous. So it's not a shipping container. I want you guys to understand that. Let's go over here. It's not a shipping container, so you're gonna need custom shipping for this guy. It's basically like one of those wide loads that you're gonna have to bring over to your mining facility. It's not gonna fit on a standard truck, so you gotta keep that in mind. But again, they thought all this through. And you can see it's on stilts. So stilts, by putting it on stilts, allows you to bring those pipes underground here, or not underground, but under the container. You can bring your cool and hot water, all that stuff. You can do it that way. They also have the fans on top. Basically, just allows you to have more room to work here on the bottom. And also, what it gives you is, if you're in an area that it snows a lot and you have 5 feet of snow every single winter, you can see how high this is here. It's about this is probably 3, 4 feet here to the bottom. So that gives you that ability to just have an easier solution for winter times where it snows a lot, especially if you're like in a remote area, like you're out in the mountains somewhere in a remote area, and you just want to be extra safe. You can do that. There are ways to go around this, obviously, like the filtration system we're building out in North Dakota will stop that. You know, you'll have the snow stop that, come to a stop because of the filter. And even though the filter will have some snow on it, there won't be as much airflow. You don't need that much airflow in the wintertime. You know, if it's minus 20 outside, your fans are barely spinning anyway. So it's not really an issue. There are ways to go around that. But for a facility like this, you don't have any air, right? It's not air miners. These are immersion miners. So it doesn't matter that there's snow up here, you know, up to here or whatever. It doesn't really matter as much. I think mostly this is just for the piping and all that, but it is kind of cool to have that extra protection against snow and all that. And again, paying such a high price for this container, which is very expensive, you know, $545,000 per megawatt. When you pay such a high price, you do expect to get these extra little bonuses here by having this thing on stilts. And by the way, the price of $545, that does include the transformer. So if you're, I think they put two 1.5 megawatt transformers on this. So it does include that. So keep that in mind. And the cost of transformers, you know, depending what type you're getting and what state you're in, has a huge impact on the price. So you might end up paying more or less. Well, not less. You're going to pay more probably if you have a state that's more expensive. But to give you an idea, transformers are like around 70 to 100,000 each. At 1.5 megawatts, they're probably going to be around like that 70, 80K range, somewhere around there. So that is included into that 545. So if you take 545 times 3, about 1.5, and then you can take off, let's say 80,000 times 2. So 180 would be actually spent on the transformers, or this company will spend on the transformers getting those. And then also your electric costs. Since they'll be running the low voltage, meaning from the transformer to this container, that cost for conduit, for copper and all of that is pretty expensive. I mean, it's not enormously expensive, but it will cost a good amount of money. Probably, I would say probably like 50,000, 80,000, somewhere around there, like a ballpark, how much it'll cost to actually bring the conductor and the conduit from those transformers into this container. So you got to take that off as well when you're doing the calculations here. But it's not a bad setup. It is high quality. It looks like a high quality build. It looks nice. All the parts in this container, well, not a container, this setup here, are all UL listed, made in the United States, everything like that. So you do get that bonus in terms of passing inspection. I don't think you need a field certification for these build outs, but again, the price tag is enormous. And if you're, trying to get something, fairly priced or on the budget, this container is not going to work out for you. We wouldn't recommend it for, a budget conscious client or anyone like that. So keep that in mind. But again, if you're out there and you're looking for the best of the best and you don't mind paying extra, this is a great option to have for your build out. Well, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys like it. Until next time, goodbye.